Thanks for staying with TVC News. And back to our story on Ukraine's recent attacks on Russia. I have joining me live from Abuja, Global Affairs Analyst Khakiv Ononuju. Good afternoon. All right, I have joining me live to share his thoughts with us on the recent Ukraine attack on Russia from Abuja, Mr. Khakiv Ononuju. Good afternoon.
Yes. Simply a replay of the old Zeppelin launch flame-throwing capabilities that were done during the old Second World War. But then what you were asked, it simply brings psychological effect. It doesn't really bring real change to the battlefield positions, which are currently dominated by Russia. As you can see, the last Ukrainian incursion into Khakiv didn't bring any real advantages. That led to the loss of loads of Ukrainian soldiers. I believe where we are right now, we should be looking for ways to force the different people to negotiate things. Ukraine needs to be saved. It doesn't have any army right now. The army is finished by the Russians. I think that's where we should be putting our focus on, how to bring the two parties to the negotiating table, and let's see what Ukraine can salvage out of its current very sorry situation.
Now, Ukraine's termite drones are believed to create more. Some defense analysts believe that Ukraine termite drones are believed to have more of psychological effects than physical. Now, how true is this, looking at the military potency of this weapon?
They simply have psychological effects. They are not new. It's an old invention from the 1890s by some German war tactician, and it was actually used those days through Zeppelins to drop this kind of flamethrowers on English coastline. But apart from that, nothing. As for the effect, the Russians do have the egg, and these are just gimmicks. The gimmicks don't change anything. The gimmicks don't distract from potential battlefield effect. And the battlefield position right now still stands that the Russians have destroyed Ukrainian army, and they don't actually have an army standing. So I think the best the international community can do is to nudge Ukraine to a table. If the Russians will agree to sit down right now to talk to the Ukrainians, I don't see any use from this war dragging on. The Russians are won, the wars are over. We agree to that. So let's start preparing the ground right now for the peace process. There's no more need to continue to suffer Ukraine much more than they have suffered.
All right, let me quickly get your thoughts on this. We have seen instances where Russian forces attacked by multiple drones have deserted their positions. Now, do you think the more Ukraine can instill a fear of drones, the better its chances of success?
Ukraine doesn't have an army remaining to fight. Forget those psychological one-off chances. They don't mean nothing to the general calculations about the war. The war is over. Ukraine doesn't have any fighting force anywhere. Even their attack in Khakiv, that's been put down, and they lost close to 9,000 men. So we really do not see any need to have this continue, apart from the propaganda that's being calibrated left and right. There is nothing much going on. The Russians have won the war. The war was a mistake, as I said on your station last year. It should never have been gotten into by the U.S. Authorities who made this, and that's one of the reasons why a lot of people are against President Biden. The war is about them, and now it's happened, and Ukraine has gotten this founding. Let us now work our ways towards the negotiating table and try to save the most of Ukraine that we can, if we still have something to save, as I believe we still do.
All right, Global Affairs Analyst Khakiv Ononuju sharing his thoughts with us on what has been termed Ukraine's biggest ever drone attacks on Russia. Thanks indeed for your time with us.
Thank you for having me.
And now to the United States, where former Vice President and lifelong Republican Dick Cheney has confirmed he will vote for the candidate of the Democrats, Kamala Harris, in November's presidential election. Mr. Cheney, seen as an influential figure during the presidency of George Bush, says the country must be above partisanship to defend the U.S. Constitution. Mr. Cheney's remarks were welcomed by the Harris camp but condemned by some Republicans. He is now on a growing list of Republicans who have expressed concern about the candidacy of Donald Trump. His daughter, Liz Cheney, who lost her seat in Congress in 2022 to a Trump-backed candidate, has already given her backing to Vice President Harris. And a 14-year-old American called Gray, who shot 2 teachers and 2 students dead on Wednesday at a school high window near Atlanta, faced the court in person on Friday for the 4-count charge of first-degree murder. The judge clarified that he would not face execution after first stating the maximum penalty was death, clarifying that an under 18 cannot be executed. A 54-year-old father, Colin Gray, charged with second-degree murder, manslaughter, and child cruelty, the most severe charges against the parent over a U.S. school shooting. The judge told him he faced a total of 180 years in prison for his charges. Officials accused the father of allowing his son to possess an AR-15 style rifle, which was allegedly used in the attack. The father and son were told they had the right to a speedy and public trial by judge or jury. Neither requested a bond or no pleas were entered. They will both remain in custody. They are to appear in court on the 4th of December. And Super Typhoon Yagi, the most powerful storm in Asia this year, has made landfall in northern Vietnam. The Indo-Pacific Tropical Cyclone Warning Center says the storm hit Hai Phong and Quang Ninh provinces with winds of up to 203 kilometers per hour this morning. It comes after Yagi wreaked havoc on the island of Hainan, a popular tourist destination dubbed China's Hawaii, on Friday. Health